Bay is uniquely suited to win back-to-back Super Bowls, and here's why. They have the coach and they have the player. We all know that Tom Brady's a phenomenal player. Rob can speak to that. He played with him, and the rings can speak to that. If no person can speak to it, let the ring speak to it. So Tom Brady's going to keep his team focused and dialed in, but they also have the coach. Bruce Arians, I played with him in Arizona in 2013 and 14. He took our Cardinals team from 5-11 to a playoff team. Then I played with them again in Tampa in 2019. And quick story, I signed with the team halfway through the season. And I said, let me just try and get up early and, just study and get ready, all the things. I got to the facility at 4 a.m. You know who was already there? Tom Moore, the offensive brilliant mind who helps them. You know who was already there? Todd Bowles, the defensive coordinator. So this team is not slowing down, from the coaches to the players to the head man and to the chief quarterback. No one is going to let them let up. And so they are uniquely suited to win back-to-back.
That's so interesting to me. And Ninko, I remember when we first started having these conversations about going back-to-back, you talked at length about the ways that Bill Belichick would go about making sure that no one rested on their laurels and all of that when you guys would be coming off championships. And of course, the Patriots in the early 2000s are the last team to go back-to-back with Brady at quarterback. And Tom obviously learned those lessons. And would you imagine he will bring those here, Nink?
Of course he will. I mean, he's probably preaching to his team right now. Last year does not mean anything. We are not guaranteed a win this year. We have to go out there and we have to earn it. So I can guarantee that Tom Brady is in everybody's ear, that the target is on us now. We are Super Bowl champions. Everyone is going to measure themselves accordingly when they play us. Doesn't matter if it's week 12, week 13, whoever is coming in to play us, they want to see where they're at and measure themselves accordingly. So I can guarantee Tom Brady is out there telling every single player on that football team, let's go, let's do this. We got 22 returning starters. Let's go out here and make history.
To me, that seems like a unique circumstance here that Sacho, not only do they have the coaching staff that will bring them back, but they actually have that presence in the locker room, which I think in some ways, it would seem to me, as one who has just covered it, would be more valuable and more important in something like this.
Yeah, it's hands down more important to have the players lead the team than the coaches. A coach can preach and preach and preach, but if the players aren't implementing it, it doesn't matter. 2019, once again, Bruce Arians and Tampa Bay, they went 7-9. That was the first year Bruce Arians hasn't had a winning season as a head coach. There was no leadership in the locker room. You get a leader, and not only a leader, you get a guy who has 7 rings, 7 of those things. You will listen to whatever he has to say. I don't care what it is. And then to top it all off, oftentimes when you win a Super Bowl, your assistant coaches leave. What happened with Tampa Bay? The assistant coaches stay. The coordinators are intact. The coach is intact. The players are intact. And that ring, number 8, will be intact.
Yeah, again, these pictures you're looking at are live from the Buccaneers practice today. Kmart, what do you think?
I think the thing that I love most about Tom Brady is that when he's asked, what's your favorite Super Bowl? What's your favorite Super Bowl ring? Says the next one. That's all you need to know about Tom Brady. He's on to the next. And you mentioned Todd Bowles. When I covered him with the Jets, he would always talk about how year 1 things can be great when you got a new team together. It's year 2, getting everybody to buy in again and really commit. So I think Tom Brady, Todd Bowles, Bruce Arians, they'll have this team running all the
I do remember that. Todd Bowles' first year with the Jets, pretty good. Second
pretty good.
Year, things kind of went a different direction. Maybe if they had this guy quarterback, it would have worked out a little different.
Perhaps.
All right, we will see. Again, that's Brady Live today. But there's another huge football story out there, and it comes from the college ranks, where, in a move that was anticipated, the SEC has officially invited Texas and Oklahoma to join the conference. SEC presidents voting unanimously to approve the 2 schools yesterday afternoon. The Texas and OU, as currently scheduled, would begin their SEC membership in 2025. But this is the kind of stuff that moves pretty quickly. And so let's bring in our college football insider extraordinaire. That's Heather Dinich with the very latest here. So now that all these formalities have fallen into place, would we expect this to be until 2025? How quickly could this move along?
Well, sources have told me it could happen as soon as 2022, but you have to leave open the possibility it doesn't happen till 2025. And Greeny, I just want to point out there is one more final formality to take place. Oklahoma and Texas have to say, yes, we do accept your invitation, and both of those respective boards of regents are meeting today, so that could happen as soon as today. Now, if they walk away before 2025, they're going to each owe $75 to $80 million if they can't negotiate otherwise. They do have to give the Big 12 18 months notice per the conference bylaws. And as one source at an SEC school said to me this week, they're going to have a lot of legal work to do to walk over to us before then.
Okay, yeah, and so again, that is the ultimate formality, yes? Like they've requested to move into the conference, and now the conference has unanimously said, yes, we want you, and so now they will just say, okay, terrific. This is sort of like sending a thank you note after you receive a gift. We're all good on that front. So you spoke yesterday with the SEC Commissioner Greg Sankey, who continues to increase the level of authority he has in the sport. What more did he tell you?
Well, I spoke with Greg Sankey about the playoff and about his relationship with Bob Bowlesby, the Big 12 commissioner, because those two have worked hand in hand closely over the past 2 years on the CFP's working group that came up with the 12-team playoff proposal. So there's certainly a sense of betrayal from Big 12 Commissioner Bob Bowlesby's side, because he has said publicly the SEC and Oklahoma and Texas have been working on this for months without our knowledge. Greg Sankey told me that he thinks there's a level of respect that is present and will remain going forward, that the two of them can continue to work together on the CFP's management committee. But Greeny, I'm also told that there are mixed reviews. Everyone I've talked to has a different take on how this will impact the late September meeting. Some people think that this is going to delay, not necessarily derail, the approval of a 12-team playoff. The Pac-12 commissioner, George Kliavkoff, told me yesterday it's unfortunately likely to delay approval of a CFP expansion plan. Greg Sankey said to me, look, I've said all along this might be delayed, but it has nothing to do with what's going on in my conference and everything to do with the current 12-year agreement.
Look, it makes a lot of sense, and you think about it. If you're trying to move forward with something with certainty at a time when things are so uncertain and unsettled, I can see where they may be complicated. Sacha, we wanted you in this conversation because you played at Texas. You sort of understand the dynamics of all of this. Well, what do you think of this move?
Yeah, as someone who played at Texas, this is obviously good for Texas. We understand that. But I look at the landscape of college football. I look at what's going on with the rest of the Big 12 and even with the distrust. You talk about Sankey and Kliavkoff. There's so much that we don't know. And that's why I believe that this 12-team playoff will, in fact, be delayed. If I'm any other commissioner who's not in the SEC or even really not in the SEC, I'm not really excited about moving forward quickly. I want to evaluate the landscape. I want to see if there are any other secret meetings that have been going on that I didn't know about, and I'm probably going to try to slow this down. So as someone who went to Texas, who understands the dynamic, I understand that Texas will only do what's best for Texas. That makes sense. But the problem is the ripple effects that happen with the rest of college football.
Well, what could those ripple effects be? I hear people telling us all the time, Heather, that this is just the beginning, that this will ultimately lead to a new reality in which we have quote unquote super conferences, which I suppose the SEC in this circumstance would already be. What are you hearing from people within the sport?
Well, Greeny, I've heard everything from the four conference, super conferences, but I've also heard as many things as an NFL light where you've got a 32-team conference with the best of the best and everyone is expected to fend for themselves who's not in that thing. And as far as the